let's talk about River's song. So a while back I did this video called Rant Out of Love. I always meant to do more, and I'm going to do more starting right now. So this one is going to be the first in a long series of Rant Out of Love, Doctor Who. And I'm going to start with the thing that really makes me want to actually hate Doctor Who, and that is River's song. Initially, the character of River is actually kind of a really cool idea, cool character, something that I can get on board with, okay? Stephen Moffat, something I could have gotten on board with. Now granted, she was introduced during the Russell T Davies area of Doctor Who, when she was a technically, episode character, a one storyline character. It was nowhere near as bad. Let's actually start with the biggest thing that I hate about River. Mind you, there are going to be massive, massive spoilers in this video, so if you haven't seen through Series 6, I wouldn't watch this video if I were you. So let's start with the biggest thing ever, is that she is Amy and Rory's kid. She is Melody Pond. That being said, there are massive plot holes surrounding the character from the very, very beginning. So let's go back to Series 5. Halfway through Series 5, Rory dies. This is before Amy and Rory are married. This is before Melody is conceived. Not only does Rory die, but he ceases to then exist. So Rory never actually happened in time. So now all of a sudden we have a character helping out that in theory should not exist because one half of her genes no longer exists. The fact that River is even able to be in the series finale of 5 is ridiculously stupid, because we've even established that Rory isn't actually Rory, that he's just a figment of Amy's imagination made into this wax soldier thing. Now, a lot of you may be able to argue the fact that he's a fixed point in time, because Doctor Who talks about that all the time. There are certain things in time that are indeed fixed. So therefore, if Rory is a fixed point in time, then that could in theory then mean that River would be a fixed point in time. But that isn't so. That isn't possible. Because in the episode in which Rory dies and ceases to then exist, the beginning of the story, the beginning of that 2-episode arc, they look and they can see themselves waving to themselves in the future. What makes this obvious that Rory is not a fixed point in time is then when that episode ends, when that story arc ends, Amy is there by herself waving. If Rory was a fixed point in time, then you would still see Rory there with her. I mean, that would have given away the fact that Rory was coming back. Then the Doctor had something to aim for, and that the Doctor then knew that he was a fixed point in time, which then would make River a fixed point in time, or at least allow River to exist. River then cannot be a fixed point in time, because if indeed her parent is not a fixed point in time, his existence can in fact be taken away, then she cannot be a fixed point in time herself. This is probably mostly because Moffat didn't know which direction he was going to take River. He probably didn't know at the time that she was going to be Amy and Rory's child. But then to decide that factor was a very bad move. River herself is a very weakly written character. A lot of people love her because she's a very strong-willed character. She's able to hold her own, and she's kind of a breath of fresh air for a lot of people, especially people like me who sees damsel in distresses way too often. River, as a film critic, River is a nightmare. While she has the potential to be an awesome character and the potential to be a very strong-willed woman, a very strong character, and something that women like I can aspire to be, she's only there for taglines and to shoot things off of the Doctor's head. You've got her normal "hello, sweetie," and spoilers crap. That is the only reason that she's ever even really part of the story. And what Moffat was trying to do was trying to say, we're moving on from Rose, which is fine. I'm cool with this. But my main issue with River and the Doctor is that it's a forced storyline. There is nothing worse to any kind of story than a forced storyline. And this is caused by a few things. One, she's not a very well-written character. She really has no reason to be there, other than the fact that they gave her the past that they did. I mean, she's Amy and Rory's kid, so obviously she's meant to be there. No. That, coupled along with the fact that Matt Smith and Alex Kingston have absolutely no romantic chemistry in any way, shape, or form. They really just don't have the right chemistry to be able to play a romantic pairing. They just don't have that right thing. They're both very good actors, so they're able to pull off the flirting scenes very well, but I don't buy it. As a critic watching the show and as a fan watching the show, I don't buy that relationship in any way, shape, or form. Let's also back up to when she appeared in Series 4 with David Tennant. They didn't have very great chemistry either, but they didn't have to, and I don't think they were meant to, because obviously David Tennant's doctor didn't even really know who she was. And so therefore, how can somebody have chemistry with somebody that they don't even know yet? And you can't have chemistry with that. I mean, that is just not possible. You can't have chemistry with somebody. I'm not a big believer in love at first sight. And also, on the other side, you've got River, who, you know, Alex Kingston played off very well, this broken heart of looking at somebody. I mean, I can relate it to somebody who has Alzheimer's and a, you know, family member who they've known their entire life can go and see them, and there is no connection to that person anymore. That you have now become a stranger to somebody that you love more than anything in the world. So I really liked the way she played it off in that episode, and I bought that. But again, there was no great chemistry. But again, there didn't have to be. Let's also talk about that episode, or that story arc, because there was something said by River in that episode that makes it a bad move to have cast Matt Smith. She had said that you are younger than I have ever seen you. And now, superficially, yes, this is a problem because Matt Smith is much younger. He's the youngest person to ever play the Doctor. He took that away from Peter Davison. He's quite a bit younger than David Tennant was at the time. When she met him as the Doctor, when she met Matt Smith as a Doctor, he was my age. When she met him as David Tennant was, I think, 40. There is quite an age difference. Whenever I make this point, a lot of people argue, well, she means the eyes. No. You can't say that. You can say that if, say, the Doctor went through hell and back, worse hell than he has ever been in his entire life, but there hasn't been enough that happened. In order to make that claim, you actually have to think about it this way. He fought in a war, the Time War, the most devastating war ever to hit his race. Because guess what? His race is now extinct. He has had, at this point, nearly 50 years of fighting Daleks and Centaurans and Cybermen and Weeping Angels and all of these other great adversaries. There is no way that going from Tennant to Matt Smith was any more painful than when he was 9 and going into 10. Granted, not a lot happened when he was 9. There was not enough happening while he was David Tennant to make the Matt Smith Doctor appear older through the eyes. He hasn't seen enough pain in Adversary. He had seen more prior. Really, there shouldn't be much difference of age in the eyes department. So that is a weak argument. Now, I'm not saying that they should have cast Matt Smith. I love Matt. I think he's an amazing Doctor. I think that he is an amazing actor. Not my favorite, but he's definitely up there. One day I will go through my favorite Doctors, like rank all of the Doctors from 1 to 11, and yeah, we'll talk about that. His casting, because of that one line, was the wrong casting, and that sucks. Stephen Moffat is really good at making a lot of plot holes within Doctor Who, and it's impossible to escape plot holes in a time-traveling show, especially one that has been around for 50 years. So I have to give him some credit, but at the same time, there are some things, like all of these River things that I'm talking about, that could have been avoided, but he chose not to. He chose not to look at that. So that'll be kind of the next thing I'll talk about. I'm going to talk more about Stephen Moffat and what I call Moffat-Holes, and I know other people call them Moffat-Holes as well. If you disagree with me and have better arguments to why River is an amazing character, please let me know in comments and video responses below. But otherwise, if you guys want to be part of the next Rant Out of Love Doctor Who video, which I'm not going to say is going to be the next time I do Rant Out of Love, but if you want to be part of it, post in the comments and video responses below some of your favorite Moffat-Holes, and I will talk about every single one of them and how I view them as well. I will see you guys next time. Bye! Is how ridiculous it is. And I say this out of love. I mean, I do. I love Mobile Suit Gundam. It's probably one of the better Gundam series. Not good enough to